Hi everyone, happy Sunday. So today's video page, everything's going to be a little bit different, I guess, than what I normally do for coloring chats. I am going to be coloring from Moon Valley by Maria Trolle. Tammy from Tammy Colors Too here on YouTube suggested that we do this double page spread, do one month and one another month. And so we're doing the dragon the first go round, and I am trying out something new. I want to black out the background, so I have a gigantic black Posca pen that hopefully I'll show in a minute. Right now I'm just playing around with the lighting. So this is a casual, like, I'm going to give you what I'm using and you'll see me color in almost real time. I sped it up just a touch so that it wasn't, you know, an hour and 15 minutes. And it was an hour and 15 instead of like an hour and 40 minutes. But I decided to use this big Posca pen to try to black out the background, and I tried it on both pages. I'm going to show you part of the process. So this first page, like, oh, it was so smooth, it was so easy. And then when I tried to replicate it on the other page, I started running into issues where it was getting streaky, and I really don't think I ran out of paint from that first page. I mean, surely not, right? Like, I don't know. For those of you that use these, I think this says this is the 24. Like, how far do these usually take you when you black out backgrounds, right? It's a 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter. It's a PC7M. There you go. Like, how far do these take you when you black out pages? But like, this one turns out really matte and nice, and then the one with the cat looks a little smeary and shiny. I mean, it's still okay. It's still a black background. I probably just won't sweat it. But I've been trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Like, why was I getting shiny streaks? And why is it streaky? And it just, I don't know. It's good enough. So, but I just couldn't understand the inconsistencies between one page and the next. So, for those of you that have used these, any tips on using them would be appreciated. I mean, they're if it's only going to give me one decent, like one really smooth blacked out background on a page, on one page, regular size page, then this is not, you know, this is not sustainable for me. But like I said, there should be still be plenty of paint in this, and so I don't know what is happening. And it seemed like it acted like it was really dried out. Not really dried out, but kind of dried out in on the second page. So I don't know how it could be drying out that quick. So again, any tips are appreciated. But I did this first page. Oh man, I loved the speed at which I was able to black out the background. Like, fantastic. If I could figure out how to get this, and even if it just, you know, maybe for a handful of pages. I don't do this very often, but even if this gave me like a handful of pages, might be worth it. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I just need to shake it up some more. That's what I'm doing as I'm talking to you. Not that I need to use it now. I'm not going to waste the ink going back over the cat page. Actually, the cat page, even with the streakiness, still looks better than probably if I was trying to paint it through normal means. And one tip I do have, so it's not as big a problem on the dragon side here, but on the cat side, you know, there's a lot of little bits and edges around the cat that I wanted to fill in. And, you know, you could just get the Posca pen in different sizes and then the fine tip used for those really fine areas, what I did and what you'll see me do in a minute, because I'm talking faster than the camera showing you, is I use a black Prismacolor pencil to fill in like around the edges of a picture. Particularly if I'm using paint or whatever, that allows me to get a really smooth edge, particularly if there's a lot of little bits and pieces that are kind of sticking out. And then with the paint, I don't quite go to the edge. Now, sometimes I'm just lazy and I'll do it, and like it won't be as smooth as it would be the other way. The black Prismacolor pencil is really the most opaque black pencil that I've used. So, if you really care about all those fiddly bits, that sounds like something YouTube's gonna flag me for somehow, then, you know, I don't think I showed y'all this whole page. Maybe I did. At some point, we shift to showing you the finished result and then starting. So, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, I'm using pencils on this picture. Well, not just pencils, but like no water, no initial base of any sort of water-based medium like watercolors or, why can't I think of those? Gelatos. I thought about using watercolor pencils as a base, but then I was kind of like, you know, the other page is going to be a pencil-only page too, so I kind of want to keep them similar styles. I was making sure I didn't have black paint on my finger, because usually I would have and put a big black spot right in the middle of that picture. But yeah, that's what I guess makes this so unique, is really the picture is going to be like 99% pencil. And for those of you that have been around for a while, I just don't use pencil that often. Okay, so here are both pages blacked out. There is the crease right in the middle that I just couldn't quite get the paint on. Whatever, I'm okay with that. Excuse me. And here I'm using that black Prismacolor pencil to do the little areas that my paint pen was too big to reach for, or to fill in. Like I said, if you have paint pens in other sizes, that might work as well. But I was just lazy, and probably all my smaller paint pens are pretty much dried out at this point. My problem is I love using paint pens, but I get into, like all my other stuff, I get into seasons, if you will, of using particular types of coloring mediums, and then I get bored and go do something else for a while with other mediums, and then that sits there and gets neglected, which sucks if it's like an alcohol marker, because it may dry up. If it's a paint pen, it may dry up. So it's one of the reasons I don't use my pencils as often, because those will last as long as I have them. I don't have to worry about them drying out on me, or only being good for a certain length of time. So they're kind of timeless for me, so that's probably one of the reasons I don't use them as often. Another reason is hand and wrist pain. I have really bad tendonitis, pretty much. Oh, here we go. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, finished out the pencil part. Now we're starting. I am using the Arctics. I think I show both. Well, I'm showing you guys, for some reason that side's shiny, and that side is like perfectly matte. So, I don't know. But like I said, it could be worse on that side. I think I'm happy enough with it. I'll just leave it. If I had painted it with black paint, it probably would have looked streakier than that. So, but we'll probably do the cat, I'm hoping, next month or August. So here I'm going to adjust everything. And I'm going to show you, there we go. Again, taking the autofocus off made it more focused. Who could have guessed? Colored pencils. This time I decided to go with the Arctics. I'm going to show you both the Arctics 125 or 126, whatever set it is, and the Starjoy charts, but I don't know if I'll need the Starjoys because right now the Arctic seems to be working really well for me. I get about halfway through this picture, by the way, today. And I'm going to put all of the pencils I use in the, yeah, this was like kind of my inspiration palette for this, from the Sarah Renee Clark Color Cubes 415, but I do end up delving a bit from that. Here are my charts. Those charts come from Color with Claire, by the way. They split up the pencils into color families instead of just like how they were made, and I love the family charts. It makes choosing colors like so much easier for me, because the color groups just make it easier for me to easily pick out like the shade I'm going to use. I struggle a lot sometimes with like reds and oranges. I don't like using pinks much, and so I struggle with those as well. And just getting colors and shades that go together right in my eyes, and I get stressed out about it, so this takes a lot of the stress out for me. Alright, so for the sky, I'm doing a sunset setup, and so I use, and like I said, I'm going to list all the pencils in the description, so if you would like to do a similar type page, feel free, or if you like a particular color scheme or set of pencils, then you have them for other pictures. I don't call these color alongs per se, just because I color very, very slowly and I usually have to speed these up. It took, I get down to the field behind the dragon in this clip, and it took me 1 hour and 40 minutes to get there, counting blacking out the background to be fair, so maybe 1 hour 30. But this is going to be a combination of oranges and yellows, and I've got about 5 or 6 pencils in this group. But like, what's weird is I'm using just pencils. I also tend to be heavy-handed when I color, and for some reason I was carrying a vibe where I was doing a lot of layering and more like medium pressure, light pressure, like, I mean, trust and believe it's like an alien took over my body or something. Like, this is just not how I normally color. So why? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. One of the reasons I was saying earlier that I usually don't just use pencils is I have a lot of tendonitis and hand wrist pain, pain in my elbows, pain in my shoulders. It can even flare up into my back when it gets bad enough. That's through years of extreme computer use, and pencils in particular, because I tend to be heavy-handed, or even when I'm being light-handed, put a pressure on my wrist and arms and stuff that other mediums don't do as quickly. Now, if I have a big coloring weekend where I color like, you know, 10 marker pages, I feel it in my arms. Like, it's still like, it doesn't matter what I'm using. If I use it enough and get it inflamed and aggravated, and the fibro contributes to that as well, it will still flare up. So I'm not safe just from using markers, but I can go a lot longer coloring with them. So, but like here, even with this lighter pressure that I'm using, 1 hour and 30 was right when I started to feel a little bit of pain in my hands, and I just wanted to stop because I just didn't. First off, I had gotten it out of my system this morning, and second, I just, like I said, the first sign of that, because it's the very start of the weekend, and I don't want to go ahead and wreck my arms so that I can't do anything else. So, but here I'm coming in, I think, with the yellowed orange. Like I said, it's really funny, because I like to jump around with mediums. I'm like, what it was like they call it, I don't know, I can't remember the quote. Something of many skills, master of none, or something like that. Like the master of none's what I remember, and that's kind of me. It's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of tutorials and stuff unless I'm just doing something I don't see people show very often, like using pastel pencils for shading and stuff like that. Or if I'm using like watercolor on Amazon book or something, like I don't mind doing those types of tutorials or neat little things I figured out, but because I don't spend a lot of time in one medium, I don't feel like I color well enough really in any medium to like feel like I'm an expert in this area. And then for a while I'll jump to something else. And when I come back, it's not that I necessarily have to relearn everything, but like I have to ease back into it and try to remember how to do it. And using just pencils is a lot like that for me, because I just don't remember, especially using the light, you know, going back over and over like I have been here. This is not how I even normally use pencils. So this is like tapping into some stuff from like 5 years ago, pretty much. So, it does look like I'm moving faster than I am, just because, like I said, I did turn up the speed just a hair so that it wasn't almost 2 hours long. But anyway, so yeah, this was an experience. I'd only used the Arctic's pencils once before in a Camellia Angel Cova image that I think these do fantastic on Amazon paper. And I thought they did pretty well in this book too. Like for the this kind of coloring that I'm doing, like light to medium pressure, I thought they did really well. I feel like the tones are a little washed out in this picture. Like it's a whole lot deeper tones like in person, so hopefully the picture I take at the end will be more color accurate. My lighting's always kind of screwed up. It's either too bright or too dark, and I tend to lean to the too bright side so y'all can at least see what I'm doing, but because of that, a lot of times pencils in particular will get washed out. And yet another reason I like to use markers. So this is the reason why I use so many markers usually. Why I wanted to do this, I don't know. Just got in the mood for it. Actually been kind of in the mood for it for the past few months. I finished, so yeah, by the way, last weekend, last Sunday, I was supposed to do completed pictures for May. And I was going to, but I felt like crud all weekend. Turned out I had a bit of a stomach bug, but I didn't know that at the time. But I got up Sunday and I had them all the books sitting here, and I just didn't want to do it. I did finish 2 of my 3, well, technically 4. 2 of my 4 buddy colors, so I was really proud of that. And I just figured, you know what, I'm just going to put them with my June pictures. One of the people that I'm doing the Mystical Cats and Secret Places buddy color with is still working on hers, so this gives her like another month. And yeah, I was just like, let's just do them in June. I think it was like 17 pages, but like maybe 2 weren't color by number. So yeah, I'm just gonna do them in June. Yeah, it turned out I had a bit of a stomach bug, kind of off and on since I gotten back from Seattle, and it finally eased up about Tuesday, and it was like amazing how much better I felt Tuesday. I thought it was really just my normal vibe, right? Like just being tired and stressed out and everything in it. No, I generally was sick for a few days, and so then Tuesday, like, I didn't feel fantastic, but at least I felt normal, which surprised me. Like I said, I was like, oh wow, I must have been really sick. So, who would have guessed? And really had a stomach bug. So, but anyway, yeah, so that's why you didn't get a video last Sunday. I meant to show it in here. I might take some pictures. I did update my bullet journal for June for coloring. I actually created the month calendar. I'm going to update it with days that I color and videos that I do. I have a buddy color list going, and I have hashtags, though I haven't filled anything in there yet. I'm trying not to plan for the month, but I would like to, you know, actually get... I know I'm going to participate in some hashtags, but I'm not like specifically putting down which hashtags I want to participate in. You know, things like that. So, yeah, so, and then y'all got the flip through on Friday. Very good chance I'm gonna order some books from Lyrica this weekend. Oh, I think I got 2 books coming this next week. At some point, and it's probably going to be next weekend, I'm going to sit down and we're going to do a coloring book haul update, coloring book collection update, from the last time I did one, which was March, maybe. And it's a big pile of books, and I need to try to put them into the bookcase, and right now they're all just sitting around, so need to just go ahead and do that and mark it as the cutoff. Yeah, so I tried to do a color and chat when I came back from Seattle, and the first half of the video went okay because I was mostly just talking about random things, and then I started talking about Scamper and promptly broke down. Had a moment and just said, nope, I'm not doing this right now. I'm not ready. And so yeah, didn't really have a plan on what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to try to keep at least the first half of the video semi-positive, and then if I feel like I want to talk about what happened with Scamper and everything at the end, I will, but that way if you don't want to hear it, you don't have to if you don't want to, which I mean, you never have to, but you know what I mean. All my videos feel like they've been not super negative the last few months, but definitely not the happiest, so I'm trying to not be drag the whole video. I'm trying not to be. So we'll see how it goes. Now, I will stop as I move to other parts of the picture and, you know, make comments on the picture as we go along as well. So I'm telling y'all, I don't know what, and I really wish I'd been able to get the whole picture done. Because Pencil Me, who knows when Pencil Me will come back, right? Like, it may be tomorrow, it might be next week, it might be the end of the month, who knows. I'm hoping it's this month at least. Tammy and I, from Tammy Colors Too, also have, where we're trying to finish the Baby Dragons book from Jade Summer, and I think we have 2 or 3 pictures left, and we had quite a few months where we took a break, but she mentioned something about doing the Crystal Dragon picture this month, so I'm going to try to do that one too. It'd be really cool to actually get that book done this year, and that's like one of my least favorite pictures in the book, so I have an idea of what I want to do. We'll see. But Oh, speaking of Jade Summer, I'm not sure if y'all saw, if you're still part of their mailing list or their Facebook group, but they are planning to do new releases again, and they're actually got one coming soon that is called Amazing Dogs. It is dogs with the kind of mandala Zentangle patterns on them. I know that's not like everybody's favorite thing in the world, like everybody, but that was actually one of the first books I got from them, was a similar looking one with cats, but it was not called Amazing Cats. It was called Kick-Ass Cats. And first, they're not selling it anymore, and I'm quite sad by that, about that. But I'm just happy they're doing new books and putting together a new team of artists. So I'm really excited to see because this won't be the only one. I'm excited to see what they're going to come out with. I also think, so Coloring Book Cafes got their books back up. Coco Wyo's still working. However, they do have a digital store where they've put some of their, or Etsy, where they put some of their digital books for sale. I will link to that. I'm hoping they can get theirs resolved soon as well. I know Coloring Book Cafe mentioned that Jade Summer actually helped them out a bit. I guess maybe providing some tips, some resources, maybe sharing what it was like when they went through their experience. And so I thought that was really cool. Like, coloring book companies and artists helping out each other and publishers, and I don't know. I thought that was cool, and that they did that. And so good on Jade Summer, and even better news since they are planning to start putting out some new books again. So I thought that was some pretty cool news for the community when things have been kind of rough lately with different publishers being taken offline by Amazon, and just I am really hoping Coco Wyo gets resolved. There are so many of their books. I can buy their digital books, but not everybody has access to a printer. And so I'm really hoping, and sometimes, I don't know, it's going to be so much more likely I'm going to color in it if it's in a book on a shelf than if it's sitting in my computer hiding away in a folder. So anyway, so there's some good news. There's some good coloring book news. So a lot has been happening over the last few months. I can't even remember. I know my last color in chat was the cute little bobcat out of Woodland Miniatures, because that's where I use those pencils. And maybe that's what drove me to start using pencils more, was just how much I liked how that picture turned out and how much I enjoyed it. And because Marie Trolle is a double-sided book, I can't use a marker base. So yeah, there is my sunset sky, which probably looks like there's a massive wildfire happening, which is probably a little bit triggering for some people right now, so I apologize. That was not my intention. We actually had an air quality alert today, which it's not on right now, but I could smell the smoke last night. I am an hour north of Nashville, and it traveled down this far. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to go on a rant if I continue to touch into that, and I'm trying to stay a little positive here, so we're going to just skip right over that. So let me see if I can think. So I had a huge ass work project that I've really been working on almost since I started at the company, but really kicked into gear in March and April, and then the stand-up delivery date where these projects would launch was going to be all through May, like starting in the middle of the May through the first week of June. And so we like basically started working. We did all this planning and then started actually working on this project like the last week or last 2 weeks of April, and got it all done with the few exceptions by third week of May. It was right before the week I had, the week of the 23rd is for the week of the 23rd. It was insane. It was insane. I just, there was so much to do, and just not enough time to do it, but it had a really aggressive deadline. Then big problem, see, I can't be specific, of course, but like big major problem happened, not related to our project, but I do email marketing, and it was related to the emails we were doing, and some of the links in them had a big problem that took weeks and weeks and weeks to fix. And because of that, we still stuck to the original deadlines of having stuff ready, but it couldn't be launched. So we had to wait and wait and wait. And finally, this was launch week, and half of them went Wednesday and half of them went Friday. And they actually, what am I doing here? Who even knows? Oh, so yeah, I actually, actually talking about the picture for a minute here. One of the things you're going to notice that's really unusual is how, I mean, the palette's not neutral, definitely. It's not neutral, but for me, this is kind of neutral. Like, when we get to the field and stuff, you're going to be like, wow, this is kind of okay, maybe muted is the better term here other than neutral. It's a very muted palette for Michelle, and you would be right. Again, that orange is pretty bright, but like, yeah, it's still overall for me. Of course, we haven't gotten down into the lower part of the picture where I think a lot of the brighter colors are going to be. But we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't look completely disjointed like that, but we're going to find out. So, yeah, so everything launched, as far as I know, knock on wood, everything launched successfully, and we're going to start on like reporting and metrics and things like that, and all of like Q3 is going to be optimizing and going over reporting and doing stuff like that, but like the bulk work is done. And you're like, geez, Michelle, you should be dancing in the streets. Like, why do you not sound so excited? And I'm tired. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, that's what I told y'all. Like, I wasn't going to have time to do anything. And it was just work and sleep. And it's really just been work and sleep for 9 months. But again, let's pause on that. We'll move on to that later on. But to top it all off, in the middle of all that, we had a team meeting in Seattle that I had to go to the week of the 23rd last month, and right at the end of getting of all this work, and I was not looking forward to it. I like my team. I didn't mind being around my team and in that part really, but like I was just physically exhausted, and I was like, man, I really wish I'd had a couple quiet weeks before we did this, because social, well, everything eats up my energy batteries right now, but like being social really eats them up. I'm an introvert by nature, and it's really been, this job's been a challenge because I'm on so many calls with so many people now. I'm used to 98% of any business and questions and issues could be carried out through Teams. That's what we were using with my previous company. Like, if you got on call with someone, it was just either a check-in with your boss or like, it was unusual. And here, boy, it's like there are some days that you can't hardly get anything done because you're on calls all day. And that's very challenging for me because that eats away more so at my batteries, really, than even just working on a project does. So I didn't have any reserves going into the week of Seattle, and I knew it was going to be a little tough. Oh, here. So I got done with my castle, but I wanted to go ahead and add a little gel pen to the roof. So I bought these. These are Sakura. They're called Tiara. I think they're like birthstone colors. Was it these that were the birthstone colors? I can read it. Yeah, Michelle, like you can read it. It's 12, so it could be 12 months. Anyway, thought I'd get them and try them. I still love my Arteza gel pens, but let me tell you something I'm having a huge problem with. I used them like crazy there, I don't know, 4 or 6 months ago, and then I haven't colored as much. And so the last couple times I've tried to pull them out and use them, they are not working for me. Not all of them are. Some of them are still flowing just fine, but like some of them are not wanting to, and they have a pen full of ink. It's not that there's not any ink. And I've tried rubbing alcohol, I've tried hot water. I can't take the pens apart because of how they're designed, and I can't find anything thin enough to fit into the tip of it to see if it's just dry ink that I can unblock. Like, if anybody has the Arteza gel pens and you've had problems with it and you figured out how to fix this or any other gel pens, please let me know, because this is the kind of thing that will make me stop buying the Arteza pens. Because I liked them because to me they were brighter than the Sakura glitter gel pens. Like, they gave more of instead of a silvery kind of shimmery color, they actually gave a legit glittery color. And I love their colors, but if they're just going to do that to me and it's a whole pen full of ink I have to throw away because I can't use, that is such a waste, and I'm just not going to do that. So I decided I'd try these, which I like them pretty well so far, but again, they don't seem to be as rich a colors. I don't know. Anyway, so just a quick note on that, by the way. Anybody knows how to unblock those, let me know. Otherwise, may not be buying any more Arteza gel pens, and maybe at least, you know, contacting their customer service and seeing if they have any suggestions too. Okay, so we're moving on to this hill. I imagine this to be a hill of like long grass, and it's windy, and it's just kind of flowing. So I used the greens in the color family chart that are like kind of brownish greens, like a fern green, olive green, chromium oxide green, asparagus green, and then pale green. But anyway, Seattle was all right. I did it. I'm here. I had to fly out. Oh, God. The problems, just the flights. Like, I had to get up so they're on Pacific time in Seattle, which is 2 hours behind me. So I started my day at 2 a.m. Pacific time, and which means I didn't get to sleep until, yeah, it was like, the time change really messed with me this time. But anyway, so like I started my day really early. And this time, so when I went in September, I was the new kid, and I didn't want to seem like I was being difficult, when I was just being a normal human being with boundaries. And like I was all like, I gotta go to all the little functions, all the little dinners and drinks and everything, and I have to go in this, even though they said Monday's a travel day, I gotta go into the building on that day, which I was new to, and to be fair, they wanted me to be able to go ahead and get my badge and stuff. So like I did have things to do that first day, like last time. This time, they were like, it's a travel day. I'm like, it's a travel day. And I got to the hotel and I had a rip-roaring headache. Like, let me tell you, Delta, like, they cram you in there. Like, I know all the airlines are bad, but, like, I guess I've just flown mostly American and Alaska Air. I've only had to fly Delta a few times, but, like, this Delta plane was small. Like, I had to ask for a belt extender. I have not gained any weight. I've never had to ask for one before. That was, I mean, I didn't really care. Like I said, anybody that seemed like they were even the slightest bit overweight had to ask for one. So it wasn't like, I guess, I felt really called out. But I was in the window seat and started having head and neck pain just from being crammed in there. And I'm like, if there was ever a medical emergency and the aisle was not wide enough, if there was somebody that for some reason had to be laid down flat, like, you couldn't have done it in the aisle. Like, I don't know where they could have done that on that plane. I would have hated for somebody to fall in that aisle because they are going to whack their face on one of those one of the armrests on the sides, because there's just nowhere else for, you know, them to go when they fall. And it just, I don't know how legally they were ever allowed to shrink the aisle that much. But again, that's political, and don't get me started. But I flew Delta because I thought it would be cheaper. I was trying to be budget conscious for my company, but let me tell you, if there's availability on an American airline in the future, which is that's the one I'm going with instead, for sure. So I took a nap when I got there. I was like, it's a travel day. There was a huge push to get as much, because the week that we're in Seattle is like a team building thing, and you're not supposed to really be working on any other projects during that time. So the big push was to get everything done so that you didn't have any work like that for the week. And so that's exactly what I did. And so Monday was pretty casual for me. Like, I took a nap when I got to the hotel. I got up, got some lunch. I did go into the office for a couple hours just to meet up. My core team was there, and they were checking some things. I just, checked my email and stuff, and then was kind of like, okay, I don't really have anything else. But, like, they wanted to go to dinner that night, which was cool, but I was like, no, I'm going back to the hotel. I'm tired. And I did. And I ordered from the Cheesecake Factory, and I got the Oreo cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. Let me tell y'all, is amazing. Like, I was very impressed. And closest Cheesecake Factory here is like on the other side of Nashville, so I usually like to splurge a bit when I go there because it's seriously like 2 blocks away from my hotel. And so I did. I spent the night reading and eating cheesecake, and that was probably what helped me get through the week, was honestly that extra rest. So, we had 2 days of full, straight, all day team stuff that we were working on. I usually only eat once or twice a day because of the gastroparesis, and like, I swear, like, it felt like we were always eating. Like, it was like these huge breakfasts they would bring in of like donuts and bagels and these huge breakfast burritos, and that would be at like 9-10 o'clock, and then by 11 they're making lunch plans, and at noon we're somewhere eating lunch, and then it's like the same thing at 4 or 5. And I was like, I tell you, by the time Wednesday night rolled around, I had to back out of the evening dinner plans because again, I was gonna have a long day Thursday, and I just wasn't feeling up to it. And B, I was so full, and I know I could just go and sit and not order anything, right? But like, it's hard because I want to try new foods, and like, it's really hard to just sit there and not be like, oh, I'll just try a bite of this or that, and then next thing you know, right? And so I just was so full. It was so crazy. I'm like, this is how normal people eat, and let me tell you, I'm surprised I haven't lost weight because of this, but I guess yeah, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Cuz there's no way I eat like a third of the amount of food that we were eating on that trip. I don't get it. Anyway, so went to a ball game. We went to the Mariners game. They were playing the Oakland A's, soon not to be Oakland, I believe. Apparently neither team's doing great this year, so it wasn't a super exciting game. We did see almost back-to-back home runs. There was a very controversial play that left. I thought people were going to like start pouring from the seats and rioting in the field. They were so mad. I'm more of a basketball game. Like I love watching any live sport game. I think those are always fun. It doesn't matter whether I watch it normally or not, but like I hardly watch any sports on television. I'll watch some college basketball, but that's it. But I love watching live games, and get really into it because my dad got me into sports a lot. When I played a lot of basketball and softball and volleyball when I was a kid, and yeah, you wouldn't think it looking at me now. So I actually really I enjoyed some of the game. Okay, a lot of it wasn't. They just weren't great. Just neither team. Like just. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but Anyway, it was really fun being in the ball field. We actually had fairly decent seats. They weren't like nosebleed seats. I was trying to think. Oh, we did drinks and appetizers one night instead of dinner the night before the ball game. And I had ordered like a fruity drink like I normally do if I'm going to order alcohol, just because that's who I am as a person. I ordered fruity drinks, and I bought cotton candy at the ball game, and like that cheesecake, like let me tell you, I have the digestive system of a 12-year-old child, and that's probably and you're like, I wonder why you have problems, Michelle. But like I don't normally eat like that during the week. Like it's mostly kids cereal I snack on, which again, not the best, but like I don't normally go that crazy, but hey, you're on a trip. It's fun. I don't even drink that much alcohol anymore, but I ordered a fruity drink and they brought it out, and no shit, they had a sparkler on that thing that they lit. And I'm not somebody that likes to have everybody looking at me. Like if we're in a meeting and we're talking, I have no problem speaking up in front of my team and talking about things, but like to have something happen and then have everybody look at me, like that's my nightmare, right? And so this big sparkler is going off, and we're outside, right? And which was one of the main reasons I was even going with them to a meal, is because we were outside in the open air, and suddenly they're all just staring at me while this sparkler is going off near this bright. It is like rubber banded to this thing of alcohol, mind you. Like, I mean, I don't. Anyway, I just wanted to crawl. I wanted to crawl inside myself and just die. Like, like, oh my gosh. I was like, well, and one of my coworkers said, "Oh, that works out. Happy belated birthday!" And because my birthday was on the 20th, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, I passed on dinner Wednesday night, and I passed on lunch Thursday. Just so I masked at the airport and on the plane at all times, and when we were in the buildings, because more people were in the buildings this time, I masked while we were in the buildings, but in our rooms that we had reserved, we could open the windows and close the door. And because it was so well ventilated and everybody on the team seemed to be in relatively good shape, I felt like that could be a lower risk, particularly because we were eating like so much in those rooms. It was hard to constantly take it off to eat and drink. Because of the ventilation, I felt like I could, take my mask off when in those rooms with the door shut. And most of the restaurants we went to, there either wasn't hardly anybody when we went, or it was open air like that little bar was. And it worked out really well for me. I did not get sick while I was gone. I think the stomach bug thing last weekend was post vacation, but let me tell you what happened though. There was one lunch we were going to go to that a stakeholder, somebody I work with, was supposed to go to, but she'd been sick on and off for like weeks, and I wasn't going to go because that was alarm bells to me, and I knew I couldn't mask if I was eating, or I was going to go and just not eat. And she wasn't able to go because she was sick, which I hated because I did want to meet her. But another stakeholder for our team went. She wound up with COVID like 3 or 4 days later. My coworker picked it up that Memorial Day weekend after she went like hiking and went with some friends. Must have picked it up at the airport or somewhere. She wound up with COVID. She's been out all week. The number of people on my list, my chat list at work, if I could just show you without giving names away, that have like the sick emoji next to them right now. I have friends who went on vacation and have been sick with COVID just in the past week or two. Like, it is crazy. I cannot believe the amount of people I know that are getting sick right now. And the one that's been constantly sick, she's like, I had some kind of virus. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, I got strep throat. And on top of that, and then she had like something else, and I think it developed into pneumonia. And it was just, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on right now? So y'all, like, I know you don't want to hear it from me, but like, just be cautious. Like, the way I did it wasn't 100% safe, but like, if you're going into a non-ventilated space full of people, or a place that's not ventilated well, that's just stuffed full of people not wearing masks, doing things like talking, singing, eating, maybe wear a mask. If it's outdoors and everybody's spread out really well, things are probably kosher and cool. But yeah, I wouldn't plane in those airports and on those planes, because that, I think, is what gets you, because just such tight space, Anyway, so I dodged some bullets there. I should have been a little more careful, but like, I'm pleased with how things went. My brother and I, in about a week and a half, are going to go to outside Philly for our yearly pilgrimage to Too Many Games, and I will be masking almost the entire time I'm there. Hell, if the air quality stays the way it is, might be masking outside too. But it's a huge convention. Like, it's in an expo center with like really high ceilings and stuff. So I mean, the ventilation probably isn't the worst in the world, but we're talking 15,000 people. Oh, quick kitty cameo. Winry showed up for a brief moment, realized I was trying to get her on camera, and took off. Oh, so now we're doing this field. So I didn't want to just do greens and greens. I wanted this to be kind of like a field of like yellow grasses, I guess, like wheat and stuff like that. So we're using Jasmine, yellow ochre, and goldenrod. And one of the things I realized, so if you look between the dragon's wings, there's this little spot that's blank. And I don't think it's part of his wings. I think it's a hill of this grass, long grass. So I do come in there with a Copic pen in a minute and add in some of the little indications of grass. But it's a little darker than the rest because of the Copic pen being just a little bit darker ink. But I don't think it's enough to that, you know, at the end of the day when I finish the picture, I don't think it's going to take away from the picture or anything. But this will be the last section I color. I'm going to save the dragon and all the flowers and greenery for a part 2. Like I said, my hand was starting to hurt and I was getting a little bit tired. I woke up early this morning and my back was killing me. I couldn't go back to sleep. And I just, yeah, I didn't want to get it to where I couldn't color anything else this weekend or play games or do anything. So, but, yeah, last year there's like 15,000 people at this convention. And so like last year we stayed masked like the whole time we were in the building. We did a lot of like taking food to our room for meals and stuff. I think we briefly ate at the convention. The area they have for meals, like if you go off to the open-ended tables they have, wasn't hardly anybody in that section. And like, so I felt okay to eat there. But like, I think we're going to do the same thing this year, especially now that what I'm seeing is happening. I don't know if that's happening across the board. I don't know if that's happening just because they have a return to office mandate at my company. And this has been one of the things I've been dealing with for the past few months. And I'm not going to go into huge detail about it, but suffice to say that it is trying to figure out what I'm doing and what my team is doing, because we're a global team. We are spread out across the world. If I go to my office here in Nashville, it's not like I'm seeing anybody in my role or in my group. Heck, probably even in my division. I will be driving 4 hours today to sit and be on chime calls all day, just like I am right now. So I'm not going to say any more about it, but it is a big stressor and it is a big deal, because my role I was assured would be virtual. And so my managers are awesome. My team itself is awesome. So we're trying to work out what's what moving forward. But for now, we're just holding in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. Story of my life right now, let me tell you. That's been one of the things that I've really been struggling with. And there are reasons, but until a decision is made, I'm not really going to go into full detail because, you know, definitely don't ever go out and start talking about what you plan to do next. What your options are, things like that. Like, I'm not going to be talking about that on here. I think y'all can infer from that enough, and that's all I'm going to say about it for right now, because like I said, things are still in flux. And while I don't think anybody's snooping on my channel, you just never know these days with companies. So so yeah, trying to think of a way to push past that. There's been other things too. Like I said, the people I work with, like, I really enjoy getting together with my team for these offsites. They or on sites or whatever they're called. I enjoy getting together with them because, like, with our team, it's really helpful when we're doing team level things. And then going out to meals and just getting to know each other personally, like, I think those are super beneficial for us. We're supposed to be doing them once a quarter, but the one I was supposed to go to last December got canceled because then they put a ban on travel for the longest time. And then we got the okay to do this, but we only got so much budget to use for the year. And so we have enough to meet one more time this year. And so it may not be in Seattle, it may be somewhere else. The plan was to move these around so that, like, each team member may have one of the on sites at their, at their location. That way, sometimes you don't have to be the one traveling. Though for me, because of my distance from Nashville, if we were to do Nashville, I would probably still have to get a hotel during the week, because there'd be no way I could do all the team building stuff and then drive back home and then drive back the next morning. So if that gives you any idea. Last time and when I say 4 hours, I'm not kidding. Rush hour traffic, last time I tried to go to Nashville, it used to be a little bit over an hour for me, like a decade. Oh, well, it was more than a decade ago, like 15 years ago. It was a little more than an hour for me, but this is like downtown Nashville. And I was driving in for an appointment, and it was during rush hour, and it took 2 hours. 2 hours one way. So, because while Nashville has grown, they have refused to do any actual traffic planning for the city. So just let's triple the number of cars on the roads, but do absolutely nothing to the road system. And you can forget public transportation. That is almost a curse word around here. There's no Amtrak. There's buses. There's one train that runs between Nashville and a local town. Has only a handful of stops. And then you still have to Uber from the stops to where you need to go. So it's like very not useful. Anyway, they do not invest in public transportation here. So, so that was the plan, and so we may be going somewhere different in the fall. So, but yeah, no, things are still we're just operating as is, which is a damn good thing, because when I tell y'all I have no filter. I'm sorry. When I tell y'all I couldn't have done this project, could have not have gotten done in time without the ability, the flexibility I had to do it remotely. Like, it just would not have gotten done. It just wouldn't have. Wouldn't have had the resources or the head count. Like, I had to put in extra hours, and if I was commuting 4 hours a day, you can believe I wouldn't be putting in that time. So anyway, so yeah, there's some other things, but I think I might talk about those, I don't know, next weekend. I thought next weekend would be a good weekend to do the live stream. This is supposed to be a quieter week at work, and it's right before my trip, and things are as chill as they're going to be at work for a while. And so I think I will be able to rest up a little bit this week. So possibly, if I can't do it this weekend, it's going to be like July. But I need to do one because we have a 5-year channel anniversary to celebrate, which I believe is like the 12th, right? So that would be Monday. I have to go back and look when my very first video went. And then the fact that I hit, I can never remember, is it 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers in May? It's 3,000 that I hit in May. And my videos, oh, I would have to scroll a lot here. Let's go look. There you go. Just do it that way. No, June 5th. So it is already passed. That was Monday. So I have officially been doing videos for 5 years. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I really can't. It's just, it's crazy, yo. How much has changed. But yet I'm still coloring. Like, that's the craziest part about it all, is I am still coloring. It's interesting just because of like how my different tastes for coloring have changed over the years. Like how, yeah, it's wild. I'd like to do some fun things. Like, I'd like to bring out some books that I've colored over the 5 years. Maybe pick out like my favorite pictures of all time to talk about in the live stream. I think that would be fun. May work on a picture if we want to. I might talk about some of the things that have happened. I don't know. But like, I'd like to do a live stream next weekend. As long as nothing crazy happens, we will try. Friday, one day I'm probably going to do my book haul, and it's either going to be Friday or Sunday. I'd like to do the live stream on Saturday, I'm thinking, or maybe Friday. Anyway, it's kind of the plan next weekend. Or I may wait and save the book haul for while I'm gone, because I am going to have to pre-record some videos. I will be gone from the 21st to the 28th, so I would like to pre-record some videos. The 21st will be the kickoff for Watercolor Summer, so you'll have a video that day, which will be, you know, unusual the middle of the week. But then I'd like to have 1 or 2 videos that weekend, and then maybe something already pre-recorded for when I come back, because I know I'll be exhausted, so. And then, you know, like, I come back, and that weekend, heck, it's going to be the end of the month. So, like, then it's completed pages. Like, what happened in June? Like, what happened to June? Because June sure feels like 2 weeks to me right now. So, that's what I'd like to do. So, heads up. I'd like to do probably some book giveaways. Oh, boy. Wow. Y'all can probably see it on my hand. But I didn't realize how Leroy really got my hand the other day. Leroy seems to be continuing to do better. We still had, he acted out a little bit yesterday, but it may take a while. I mean, it's an antibiotic. They usually, you know, say he can't have another one for 2 weeks. So, I mean, antibiotics usually take a couple weeks to work, like 10 to 14 days to work. So he's probably still getting better. Somebody mentioned in the comments, I think it was Brittany, had a good question about, are we going to change his diet? So here's the thing. He has crystals in his urine, and he hasn't had constant problems with UTIs. We've been very lucky. And he hasn't had any problems with blockages. However, I think 90% of the problem is the stress level. And then, well, no, it's probably more like 70% is his stress level, 30% is his diet. We tried the crystals friendly food. He would not touch any of it. Wet food, dry food, absolutely not. Just was not having it. I found some different wet foods that he will eat, but he goes through phases. He'll eat on it every day for a week, and then he won't touch them. He'll humor me and eat a few bites, but then he won't eat a lot. So I try to work him in as much as I can, but he just is not very cooperative. When he first got diagnosed with them, in doing that, and even normal cat food, he only eats pretty much probably the worst food possible for him, which is the Frisky shreds. He will eat maybe 3-4 different flavors of that. Not all the types at the same time, mind you. He only eat one flavor pretty much at a time, just depending on if you can get him to eat 2 different types at a time, then he's doing really well. So that's right now he's actually doing really well because he's eating 2 different flavors. But like dry food, the only thing I can really get him to eat is the ID dry, which is what we have for the other cats. That and managing his stress seemed to do really well for a long time. So I'm thinking it was probably because I was gone, the outdoor cat situation we've been having, and I think he got into, so there's a Fancy Feast dry food we use for the other cats, and I think he doesn't normally want it, but I think he got into that a lot while I was gone, and that I think it all just contributed. And so we bought some more Feli Whey. He's got the antibiotics. I'm going to make sure he continues to get his amitriptyline twice a day, because not only does it help with his anxiety, but it also like chills out if he has any sort of cystitis issues. It helps with that. And the cat situation, I'm no longer letting them on the porch at night. My husband actually put together a shelter this morning that I think will work and give them a place to go and eat and be safe from the dogs in the neighborhood, and the dogs can't get to it because of the way it's designed. It's just, the key thing is, will the cats actually go in there? So it's outside right now, airing out. And so I'm hoping with all that, and I mean, I'm going on this trip, like, we'll see. I really, really, really don't think a diet change is going to work. It has been a few years, so I mean, there's the CD food, even the stuff that isn't specific to crystals, but is like urinary health food might be beneficial for him. So, I mean, there's a few of those we haven't tried, but gosh, I wish Chewy would like provide samples. I mean, you still have to get like a vet's prescription okay for like prescription foods, but I wish they had where you could pay, you know, and if you even had to pay a little bit more for 2 or 3 cans, that's fine. But like for a sampler pack, right? So you could check and make sure your cat's going to actually eat it. They will refund you. Like if you get it and your cat doesn't like it, they do refund you if you get a pack of food. But I just hate to do that a lot. I hate, and it's a pain, a little bit of a pain to have to do. Let me tell you though, like Chewy's always been their customer service, and just, oh my gosh, I would pick them over Amazon any day when it comes to pet food, like in a heartbeat. They've always been amazing. So I have no doubt they would do that, but I just feel bad. Though I have donated that food to local rescues, and even taken some to the vet's office and said, if you have another cat you diagnose with this, because they'll sell certain types of food, but they don't sell it all, because it's a small rural sorry, I saw a meme this week about how being a southern, it's this TikTok, it's like, being a southerner never impacted me. It's like, oh really? Say rural. and that's exactly what it sounds like. But they're small, not a really rural, I can't even say it right now, vet's office, but I mean they're small, so they can't carry every single possible flavor and type. But sometimes I'll take it up there and I'll say, if you have another cat diagnosed, and you know, feel free to give them a few cans of this. That way they don't have to buy it and try it themselves. So I've done that before too, just because I would like other people not have to deal like I do. So I don't know. But anyway, he seems to be doing better. It's still very stressful with him. I think all my recent stress lately too has not helped. They're very good at sensing when things are off and things are very stressful and chaotic. And it's been that way for a long time. So yeah, we're not going to get to talk about Skateboard today, and that's probably for the best. I probably should pre-record. You know, it would. I could try to do part 2 of this and do it while I'm gone. I don't know. Y'all might get more video. I do really well when I pre-record videos, so y'all might actually get more videos the last 2 weeks of the month. I might do the part 2 of this. Let's look together here. So next weekend we'll do live stream. That might be the only video that we do that weekend. No, I'll have some new books to flip through as well. The weekend of the 23rd, I'll probably do a book haul and a supply haul. That's going to be a big one. The 21st will be a watercolor one. And then the weekend of the 30th, we'll have completed pages. I might do that on the 2nd. The 30th might be when I do part 2 of this. Yeah, might be. I don't know. If I don't do, if not, I might do it the week of the 28th or something, like on that Wednesday or something. But I need to do a I don't know, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to, the part 2 will happen this month because this page needs to be done by the end of the month. So if you are coloring along and want to see me color the rest of it, we will be continuing to use the Arctic pencils and then also adding in a little bit of gel pen, particularly on the dragon because I want the dragon to be sparkly, and the flowers. And I think that's going to be it. This is just going to be a very straightforward page. Yeah, so in the part 2, I will probably talk a little more about the not so great side of my life for the past few months, 9 months. I mean, really, truly, guys, it feels like this week was the first week in 9 months I've been able to take a breath, and I know that's not sustainable, and that's not good. I mean, it's good for this week, but it's not been helpful for my mental health, and so got to transition to a more balanced thing, more balanced layout. I am seeing, I think I told you guys I was able to start seeing a therapist again. My company, now see, here's the kicker. My company, like, okay, well, real quick. So I'm going to finish this up and then I'm going to show you guys a picture of what we've done so far, which you can see anyway, but I'm going to put it here at the end so I can wrap this up and take as long as I need to. I'll put something here at the end that y'all can look at. Maybe it's pictures of my coloring journal. Who knows? Yeah, lost train of thought. Oh, okay. So therapy. Knew I needed to see somebody, and the one thing I can say, and this is one of the big pros about my job, is the insurance is the best insurance I've had as an adult at a company, by far. It is really good insurance. They also had a deal where you could, and really it was 5 free sessions per issue, could contact a therapist through an app called Talkspace and get like 5 either 30-minute sessions, or you could do like texting sessions. I'm not a fan of the texting ones because let me tell you, all my texts would be, and the people I text with can attest to this. Like, all my texts would be a mile long. Like, I have a lot to say, and texting is not the best for me. I feel like for people that can easily summarize what they have to say in shorter, small text, that's the best way to go. But for me, it's more of like face-to-face type stuff. So I fortunately got matched with somebody I really like. Not always experienced with Talkspace. Kind of controversial. Any of those types of apps that put you match you with therapists and stuff I know are kind of controversial, but I lucked up with this one because she's a good one, and it's not her only place that she has her own private like clients in practice too. So like she's legit. She's been real legit through the sessions I went through. But I got to do like 5 free sessions with her, which I liked because it gives you a chance to kind of feel somebody out. Look, it may not feel like it. Like, I know a lot of times if you feel like you need somebody to talk to and you need to go to therapy, like, it feels like you're weak. But let me tell you, it takes some real strength of character to actually go through finding and talking to someone like that. Like, that takes some real strength to actually do it. So don't ever let anybody tell you you're weak because you have to go see a therapist like that. No, to acknowledge you need help and actually go get it, like, that's a strength a lot of people don't have. They just won't. It's a fear. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying like, but I'm saying a lot of people just aren't brave enough to do that yet. Hopefully they'll get there one day. But if you ever do, please, don't ever. That's why I have no qualms telling you guys, because I'm a huge advocate for mental health and seeing therapists and getting, any sort of medication or help that you need to, because boy, we are all going through it right now in some way, shape, or form. And one of my biggest pet peeves in this country is that we do not provide, I feel like, good enough any sort of healthcare service, much less mental health. And most insurance companies don't provide a lot of coverage for it either. But again, this is a rare case where I'm fortunate. However, let me tell you, the percentage of people in my company that use the mental health services is probably quite high, which is great. But the fact that they need those mental health services is also, and it might be work related, is a little concerning too. But well, that's a topic for another day. Anyway, because of work and because of the cats and everything else, I started talking to somebody. I liked her a lot. Sorry, there's motorcycles in the background. I feel like when it gets warm outside, it's a contest in this community for people to be as loud as possible when they're on the road. Jeez. I am such an old lady. I'm 70 years old in a 42-year-old body, I swear. Anyway, extremely annoying. Oh my gosh, I just want to pick up my house and move. Y'all just don't know. Take all the not my cats with me, but like, that's the only thing. I could just care less about the rest of this area right now. Anyway, those 5 sessions went up and were finished, and I didn't know what would happen in regards to what insurance would cover, so I set up my insurance to see, and actually, as of right now, my insurance is covering 100% of my visits, and that's why I was saying this insurance, y'all, like, what? Like, they just don't do that. So I am continuing to see her. The problem was they were only 30-minute sessions, and again, y'all see how I like to talk. There was no way I could get anything done in 30 minutes. Even my therapist was like, I hate 30-minute sessions. So now I get full hour-long sessions, and it's very nice. We've had 2 of them so far, and I've got another one Monday. And really what had to happen was I had to, right about April, right before this project started, like the main part of the project started, I was having panic attacks, and I basically had to take everything that was bothering me and stuff it in a closet. And like, when company's coming over and you have to do the speed clean in the house. So you put everything in the closet, but you never go back to that closet to unpack it, right? You wait, you know, next time somebody comes over, you put more in the closet. And I was describing to my therapist, it's like, now I have this closet with a tower all the way up to the ceiling in that closet. And the problem is, it's only been packed in there a few months, but it's already out of control. And if I open that door and I try to take out one thing in the middle to deal with, the whole pile tries to come out of the closet on me. And so then I have to slam the door shut and close it and just know next time I open that door, it's just all going to come flying out. And then that's pretty much an astute analogy for my brain right now, because when I did my last coloring chat attempt, I tried to pull out that piece regarding Scamper's passing, and then that's when the closet tried to fall on me, and it was ugly. And I told her, I was like, it's a problem, because, and one of the reasons I'm a fan of therapy, I had things happen where I spent, I don't know, 22 years with a closet like that, and you can imagine how much it grew. And it took 2 or 3 years to unpack that closet. And I swore, because I always stuffed down my feelings. That was just one of those things I was taught as a kid to do. And a lot of us did that because, you know, our parents and grandparents, you did not showing emotion, showing any reaction, dealing with stuff was a sign of weakness. So you had to just stuff it down and deal. And it took me 2 or 3 years to unpack 22 years worth. And so I swore I was never going to do that again. And this time I had to. I had to, or I was not going to be able to do this project. I wasn't going to be able to do my job. I was just going to be in the bed and I was not going to come out. And so my therapist was like, yeah, okay, this is going to be temporary though. And I said, I agree. So only been about a couple months worth. We'll say March is when it started. Only a couple months worth, but boy howdy, that closet's already filling up. And so yeah, tried to unpack it myself. That didn't go well. So Monday we're going to start taking stuff out of the closet, so to speak. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, it was terrible, y'all. I was I'm going to cry. It's a given. And in talking about all of it, I am going to cry. It's been very dramatic, very awful. To deal with everything. Just waving my arms right now, like just windmilling my arms at everything, like just life, the U.S., cats, family, health issues, like just everything, right? And but I can't let it sit in there, and I gotta start dealing with it. And the problem is, I don't feel like I'm ready enough to unpack it myself. I know I can't deal with it myself. That's why I started seeing somebody again. So anyway, so yeah, we're going to start working on that. I'm hoping, like I said, maybe after a couple sessions with her, maybe that coloring chat at the end of the month, I can, because I never really went into what exactly happened with Scamper. And I never did really go into much what else has been going on. So but I just don't, I'm not as fragile right now. This week has really helped, but I think I'm just gonna let a therapist help me on that one for a while. I got other things to talk about. I got some new glasses. That isn't the only thing. There were other things I was going to talk about. But we were out of time today, and I think an hour and a half's a pretty long time if you've stuck with me this long. So, hope you enjoyed watching me actually color with just pencils for the most part. Very interesting color choices so far for me. Very interesting coloring medium for me. This is just my vibe right now, for some reason, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, this is going Sunday, though I'm recording it Saturday because I just know that Sunday funk's gonna hit me. Funk is gonna hit me in the morning, and I'm gonna be like, I don't wanna. So we're gonna go ahead and get this ready. Should have flipped through Friday. There'll be a new release and another book I ordered this week that I saw on Poet Spice's. Was it Poet Spice's channel? That I thought was hilarious. So we'll probably do a flip through on Friday and then live stream hopefully on Saturday. Hopefully. Yeah. So I'd say towards the end of the week, Thursday I will post details on Instagram, and I will know Thursday, one way or another. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.